Charlie Harraway's professional career spanned 8 NFL seasons. He played with 2 teams under a pair of the most famous coaches in pro football history. Number 31 had a reputation for being a hard-nosed, never-say-die running back who struggled for each and every yard he could get. First with Cleveland, then Washington. His pro career began as an 18th-round draft pick of the Browns. Under Coach Blanton Collier, Cleveland was a veteran club that had some of football's biggest names on its roster, including one of the league's premier running backs, Leroy Kelly. Not surprisingly, Harraway was relegated to the special teams, where he made his mark as an aggressive, team-oriented player. When he did get a chance to run from the backfield, number 31 made the most of the opportunity, displaying a hard-driving, punishing style of running that gave glimpses of breakaway ability. In his 3rd year, young Harraway became a starter and was the only bright spot in Cleveland's dismal showing in the 1968 championship game against Baltimore. Vince Lombardi had become coach of the Redskins and searched NFL rosters for players to populate his first Washington team. The legendary Lombardi was a proponent of basic football, and Cleveland's game film showcased Harraway's hard-nosed play. Lombardi got him with the express purpose of blocking for Larry Brown. Right from the start, number 31 proved he could move the pile to help spring number 43. With Harraway leading interference and clearing the corner, Brown went from an obscure back to one of the NFL's finest, and Charlie Harraway became one of the best blocking backs in the game. It is no coincidence that both Larry Brown and Leroy Kelly achieved their 1,000-yard years with Harraway in the same backfield. In 8 years, Charlie Harraway played in 110 NFL games and ran the ball for 3,019 yards. He scored a total of 27 touchdowns and caught 157 passes. The last statistic is significant, for besides his blocking, Harraway's receiving ability may have been his biggest asset. In 1969, he broke the NFL record for receptions by a setback with 55. The short swing to Harraway became a lethal weapon in Lombardi's air arsenal. Charlie blossomed under Lombardi's tutelage, which lasted but a single season. After Lombardi's death came the Allen era, in which George Allen brought a more contemporary approach to the game. Sparked by their new coach's fiery emotionalism, Harraway and his teammates flourished in the new system.
The next week against New Orleans, Green's replacement, Charlie Harraway, ran through the Saints for over 80 yards. He had help in the offensive show as an indestructible chance, though, and he made the most of it. The 230-pound fullback runs with speed, but evasive action is not his style.
Number 31, tough Charlie Harraway, is also an excellent safety valve, screen and swing receiver.
Farmer Brown Charlie Harraway batted over for a score, and Washington only trailed by 4 points, 20-16.
Hoss's sidekicks are number 62 left guard Ray Shaw.
Powerhouse, and someone is always eager to pick up slack. Number 31, Charlie Harraway, is usually Larry Brown's blocking back, but the Eagles discovered that he can run with the same authority with which he rips open a hole. Harraway thumped out 77 tough yards.
Competition, including the Vikings' Carl Eller. And left 4, Billy the Kid Kilmer would again try to attack the Chief defense with his main weapon, the run. Take his team in for another shot, and the man who led Washington was Charlie Harraway. The Chiefs' defense was keying on Larry Brown, and Kilmer wisely used Harraway to perfection, first on a flare and then on a draw down to the Chiefs' 20 as the third quarter ended. But on a
at his own 45-yard line. But Jurgensen coolly stepped back and found Charlie Harraway circling in front of giant linebacker John Douglas, number 51. Harraway's gain was good for 21 yards, and a repeat of the play shows that the Giants had fallen off in a prevent, leaving number 31 wide open underneath.
Charlie Harraway moving behind John Wilbur and breaking tackles. Finally stopped there by Dave Jones.
Washington came right back on the next series, and number 31, Charlie Harraway, threw the same punch for the Redskins.
Has been aggressive consistency, and using number 31, Charlie Harraway, who chopped away for 107 yards and 18 carries this afternoon, Washington began to advance on the Detroit goal the first time they touched the ball. Completing the 74-yard drive in 13 plays, Billy Kilmer flared to Harraway, who stepped unimpeded into pay dirt for a 7-0 advantage. And he arrowed one to number 31, Charlie Harraway, to pull the Skins to within range, 24-17.
Rump by setback Charlie Harraway. Then Charlie Harraway went outside and outran 15 yards worth of tacklers to tie it all up. The Redskins took a 14-7 lead when Jurgensen threw to Charlie Harraway.
Most of all, Harraway was known as a player you could count on.
Into a touchdown with a swing pass to Harraway. At halftime, the Redskins built up a
in the parade and unleashed touchdown bombs to both Charlie Harraway
spectacular doses. This one a 57-yard shot by number 31, Charlie Harraway.
Seven.
Trailing by 4 points in the third quarter, Jurgensen passed to Charlie Harraway, who stormed 64 yards to put Washington ahead 24-20. Final score, Washington 27, Atlanta 20.
In 1973, Harraway retired, ending a career which was known for self-sacrifice. In 8 NFL seasons, Charlie Harraway had many great moments, but it is as a team player that he'll best be remembered.